to it. Welcome to another episode of the Smiles Ahead podcast, community style, where we bring in somebody from the community. And Josh, thank you so much, from Green Brother Juice and Smoothie Company. As we all know, you've probably seen them around town. How many locations y'all have?
We have 5 locations.
5 locations, right here in the heart of Charlotte. So these are kind of the companies that we love to connect with. So thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. And thanks for being such a great representation of what the product looks like.
Hey, there you go. I was just telling him before we were online here, how I personally use this brand. So I always like to say, obviously we're not getting anything out of this to promote it, but saying that I actually use it. So that's always a good thing to say, when you're talking about or talking to somebody about it. So congratulations on y'all's success. But I know there was a process to get here. So what's the Green Brothers story here?
It only took 10 years to be an overnight success.
That's right. That's right. Some people say, "Oh yeah, 5 locations. That must have been easy."
Yeah. It's as with any entrepreneur, it's a journey. And it there's been a lot of roller coaster rides and ups and downs. But being at a place where we're able to make an impact, being able to really connect with our community, and just like you said, like hearing people say, like, man, this product's amazing. I love it. It's changing my life. It's, whether it's a cancer patient that's able to, go through and get rid of, a lot of things that have been ailing them due to our products, or whether it's people after they get their teeth worked on, they're able to, get some good nutrition without having to chew. All that kind of stuff is what fuels me to continue to push this brand out and continue to make an impact. Going back to the day of, when we first started, my daughter was born 2 weeks after our first location opened up. So, going back to where we started, and my wife and I were, still figuring out how to be spouses, definitely figuring out how to be parents. And I was 100% trying to figure out how to be an entrepreneur. Yeah. And I was a horrible one at the first start, and still learning, but I've definitely learned a lot. And I'd say my staff would say I've gotten better.
So for the entrepreneurs out there, I always like to ask, you've done a great job with just brand recognition, people knowing, you're in different stores I've seen around other than y'all's locations. How is that process did you do a lot of self-teaching? Did you do a lot of, I tried this and it didn't work, so now I reverted, or it was a little bit of both?
Yeah. So one of the more memorable experiences my wife and I had, we were living in a 800 square foot apartment condo back when we first got married. Before our first child was born, my wife was pregnant. And we bought this big commercial juicer that sat on top. I don't know if you've ever juiced. Mm-hmm. Sometimes when you're putting the juice or the product in there, it jumps out before you put the tamper on and press it down into the grinder. And so we were doing that, testing out these recipes, and specifically looking at our beet juice. This is not a very subtle color. If you put this on this beautiful white wall, it's going to be pretty obvious to know where it is. So we were putting beets and carrots in there, and all of a sudden it just flew up and exploded on our ceiling. Of course. So we never actually painted over it until we left. It was just kind of like a funny, it was like, this is art. This is who we are. This is kind of the journey we're on. Right. And so we just embraced it. And I think that's kind of the way that we've tried to approach parenthood and business, is like, look, things are going to happen. Not everything's going to be ideal, but embrace it and roll with it and make the most of it.
Now, I always talk with our patients, whether it be our pediatric patients, which is really important, but also our orthodontic patients, whether they're teenagers or adults. Nutrition is super healthy for not only body health, but oral health. People forget how much the mouth is connected to having the nutrients and all that. Did you start this because you saw just decline in everyone having minerals that they need and vitamins they need, and just all the, I would hate to say it, but poison that's getting into our food, and having access to something like this where they're like, hey, yeah, you can buy a commercial juicer. Yeah. You can go get all this stuff, but how many people are really going to do that versus, hey, here, boom, I can do it in 3 minutes.
Do you have a juicer at your house?
I don't. I just use y'all's. Because,
smart man.
It's one of those things where I had one and I just wasn't using it. Yeah. And you use it for the first couple of weeks, and then all of a sudden it clicks. Yeah, you gotta clean it. You watch
one of those, those shows, those documentaries of showing people like juicing for 30 days and they lose 100 pounds. They feel amazing, which that all is extremely popular.
Yeah.
But a big thing is how do you incorporate it into your busy life? Right. How do you get streamlined? How do you make it easy for you to make healthy choices? And I don't know about you, but if I'm in the red zone of calories and I'm like craving food and I'm, driving by all these Chick-fil-A's and Wendy's and all this stuff, the idea of going home and spending 20 minutes and getting a juice made and then prepping it and then baking it and then spending another 15 minutes to clean it up is not ideal.
Not gonna happen.
So that's why we have 2 500-pound juicing machines and a whole team dedicated to making this beautiful product you have right here.
Yeah.
But a big thing is how do you have healthy things incorporated into your life seamlessly and easily to where you can make healthy choices instead of, going and getting the very, very convenient poison that is very, very easy to get. Yeah.
And I see you take care of yourself real well. Was this a passion for you and your wife before? Like y'all juiced a ton and then you're like, hey, there's not a good product here that we can go.
Yeah, big way we started was smoothies, just because smoothies are super approachable.
Yeah.
And it's easy. It's like, oh, I can see the thing I'm putting in there. It's just changing its form and then I'm able to consume it. But grew up an athlete, did the college soccer thing and then went and did the endurance sports and then Ironman races and ultras and so throughout that process, when you're, having to eat, 5,000 to 6,000 calories a day just to maintain your weight,
right.
You realize the difference of when you eat the good stuff and when you eat the bad stuff.
Yeah.
And your recovery, how you feel, how you sleep, your energy, how you can show up for your work and your spouses and your kids, is just so hugely different when you put the right stuff in.
Yeah.
So I've always been passionate about if you get good things in, you get good out.
So I heard you mention energy there, being that it's a Monday morning that we're recording this. Energy is a huge thing, and I know that everybody wants it, but everybody tries to cut corners to get it. I see y'all have the energy one here.
Yeah, so that's the Boost Me Up shot.
Yeah, Boost Me Up shot. So tell me a little bit about that one and kind of keeping it a little bit more natural than saying going and hammering 4 cups of coffee on them.
Sure. I think on the energy front, and not to undersell our product, but the biggest thing you can do to get a good energy is eat good, move, and sleep.
Yeah.
And so if you're dehydrated and you're not drinking, if you're drinking 8 ounces of water a day and you're not sleeping more than 6 hours a day and you're eating just garbage, a juice or a shot's not going to just be the magic pill. Right. And we want to be very clear about that because we're not the magic pill. We're an addition to a healthy lifestyle, and we can be a springboard and a huge part of that. But if someone's like, man, I just can't, I just want to take this thing and get healthy. And it's like, well, again, make sure you're sleeping, do all the things that are free to help you feel like a better version of yourself. And then once all those baseline, that bottom of the pyramid's built, come and incorporate this and it'll take you to the next level. But making sure that we're taking care of our bodies on the baseline level, and then obviously refining it and adding these things to it will springboard you into the next level like you're at,
Yeah. Well, I'm always trying to improve too, but I always relating that back to the braces. People are always like, well, can I just get a water pick to clean it? And I'm like, yes, a water pick would be like this shot. Right. It helps, but if you're not brushing and flossing and doing the baseline stuff, you're going to have bad hygiene.
I'm sure that you don't have any patients that come in and say, hey, when's the last time you flossed? And you're like, you should know, doc, it was with you.
Exactly. Yeah,
I'm sure you don't have anyone like that. Just like we don't have anyone that comes in and is like, oh, I need to do like a 15-day juice cleanse. And then everything else the rest of the year, they're just pouring it in.
So I'm interested with the juice cleanses. I always have a lot of patients ask, like, I know you're going through aligners right now, and whether it be orthodontic braces, Invisalign, aligners, you're going to have some soreness, some people more than others, but they're saying like, what can I eat? What should I eat? Soft diet, this and that. If they wanted to incorporate something like a juice fast that are kind of popular, but tell us a little bit more about those, because I know there's a lot of probably pseudoscience and actual science. And what do you see that works best with the juice cleanses?
Yeah. So my 9-year-old daughter's got, she's in braces. I've got the Invisalign stacks, or Sparks, excuse me. And what I'd recommend is it's called the Athlete Cleanse. So it's a corporation of juices and smoothies. So that way you're still getting this is essentially water filtered through plants. And so you've got tons of macronutrients and phytonutrients and lots of other fun buzzwords. Basically, it's really good for you. But also with the smoothies, that'll keep you fuller for longer. So you've got the carbohydrates, you've got the fats, the proteins, that'll keep you a little bit more full. So these are great for nutrient absorption. And then the smoothies are going to be great for making sure that you're full, that you're fueled, so you can still do workouts, you can still do strength training exercises and rebuild your muscles with the protein that's in the smoothies, whereas you can't rebuild muscles through juices alone. So I would recommend everyone who is in the middle of like, my teeth hurt, I don't want to chew, because I remember the first time that I had my teeth and I took them out and I like went to bite something, I'm like, nope. I can't eat this.
Right.
And so I went immediately and got a smoothie. And those things just, wash right down and keep you really fueled.
Nice. And for our pediatric parents out there with kids that maybe are in the range of 3 to 9 or 10 that aren't quite in orthodontics yet, but they want their kids to be healthy, how are these juices for young people? I assume that they're great and they're probably easy to incorporate. How did you do that with your kids, maybe?
Yeah, my kids, whether they had a choice or not, they were really good test subjects and taste testers. But they actually love it. My son, for some reason, he loves this beauty shot. He just loves like the tanginess, and so every child has their own unique favorite. And my kids used to love like the really green, the ones that have like the no fruit in them. So my recommendation is get your kids to kind of taste them all and figure out what they love. Because some kids hate beets. Some people are obsessed with beets. Some people, but they don't know until they try. Right. So it's like, get them exposure to it. Get them like trying whatever you're trying. But also, as you, do you have kids?
I have one.
Okay, perfect. So, lessons are caught, not taught. Right. And so if my kids constantly see me drinking smoothies and juices, they're like, oh, I'll do that. But if they constantly see me eating, garbage, they're going to be like, oh, that's what I'm going to do. No matter how many times I'm like, oh, you should do this. You should do this. And I'm like, well, what am I? I'm not even doing it myself. Right. So it's like, good but my kids, I don't know, maybe thankfully they seem like they're on a smarter trajectory than I was when I was younger. But they're like, oh, well, I'll just do what you're doing. I'm not going to listen to what you say if it's different than what you're actually practicing out. So that's a lesson I've learned.
It's funny. My kid, we had this same conversation about sugar. I'm not one of those that say, "Hey, you can't have any sugar." Of course you can have sugar, but I'm always like, "Hey, watch out on that. You've had a lot of sugar today." And then he'll see me eat a dessert and be like, "Oh, I thought you were healthy. Are you going to eat that?" Like, he's 5. So you're right.
You don't know anything, child.
Like, they're watching exactly 100%. What you're doing. So like you were saying earlier, to keep your whole body healthy, moving, sleeping, some of the stuff that like costs us nothing and makes you feel good, I think is being underrated in how we're maybe teaching the young people and stuff. Yeah.
Well, I think also going back to the cost factor of it's not cheap to eat well. Right. You can go and get a whatever Taco Bell like for a dollar menu or something like that. I've never had it personally myself.
Of course not.
But it's more expensive to eat healthy. In the short term. Yeah. But then you extrapolate that over the long term, and you're like, well, when you're sick, how much would you pay to not be sick?
Exactly.
Like you're like, if I can't make money, if I can't be, show up for my kids, I can't like show up for my staff or my family, my loved ones, my community the way that I feel like I can. I mean, what's the value of when you're in those moments of like, it's like I immediately get on like all the medicine, all the good stuff. All of a sudden, when you start feeling that tickle in your throat of like sickness, you're like, everything healthy all the time. It's like, well, let's just like, be more consistent and incorporate these kind of things into your diet throughout your daily routine. And then you don't have to hopefully never get into those deep depths of sickness. Right.
Well, that's great. We just love having people in the community that are trying to promote health. And not only, like you said, I love that you said, this is not a magic bullet. Yeah. You need to do other things, but this certainly helps. Before we get off, I won't keep up too much of your time, but tell me a little bit about the juices we have here. I know this is some of your more popular ones, the beet juice.
This is our Recover Me here. So this is like nature's Gatorade. So it's really good for people post-workout, pre-workout, post-hangover, if you've had a little too much. So it's got watermelon, beets, crystal, Himalayan salt, apple, lemon, and young Thai coconut water. So really good at oxidizing your blood. Lots of other good health nerd benefits. And then this one we have the all kale. So this is going to be a little bit spicy and green. So that's going to be a good immune booster, and have a nice amount of sweetness with the pineapple as well and the lemon. We have a couple other shots that are really good for different things, kind of all have their own superpower. If we would have brought the Cold Buster shot, that one's the Mac Daddy. So do you like spicy things?
I do.
So this one's got garlic, jalapeno, beets, lemon. That one's got garlic, jalapeno, beets, lemon, ginger, turmeric, and olive oregano, and it is just a immune boosting party in your mouth.
Oh, that's nice.
So that's a really good one, especially if you feel like you're getting sick. I know that you are having people with their open mouths just looking at you all day. So
yeah, trying to stay on top of it.
Yeah, that's a really good option. We also have some proprietary made for us energy bites. So these are made from a local vendor, and we've really perfected some amazing flavors with her. And so we've got about 4 to 5 different, depending on the season, flavors of those.
Cool. Well, I won't keep you much longer, but for y'all out there, I personally use Green Brothers Juice. They're right here in the middle of Charlotte, locally owned, promoting good stuff, great stuff. So
What's your favorite product?
My favorite product is usually the beet juice.
Yeah.
So just go straight to that, which, not to say that I'm using it for hangovers all the time. Using it for hydration.
You work out. Yeah, it's okay.
So, I like this one. It's kind of a go-to. There's a few of the shots that I like. I have had that the immune booster one, which is whether it be self-torture or not, I love spicy stuff. I love that ginger taste where it kind of just makes you, that has to be something good. Right
Especially when the kids go back to school. Load up.
So I'm constantly drinking these. They're super convenient, and I think that's going to be an important thing. So you're not going to be able to just say, I don't have time to do that. You can just crank one open, take it in your car, take it to go. I actually like them midday. So a lot of people like to start their day with it, but something where I'm kind of 10:30, I'm usually getting, when is it lunch? When is this? And if I take a little some juice
instead of going for like the energy drink or the
and you'd be surprised coffee. Out there, if you're at a dental office, they're telling you not to eat sugar, but if you go back in their kitchen, I promise you there's donuts back there. Like in our we're all giving each other sweets all the time. So and patients are always bringing us sweets, ironically. So you go back in the kitchen and there's just junk, and it's so easy to be at 11 o'clock and you're not going to eat lunch, but I'll have a donut.
Yeah.
So if you
don't want to be rude.
Right. But if you have something like this and you can just sip on that, it kind of can take that craving away. Mm-hmm. Well, Josh, thanks so much for coming on, man. We appreciate it, and we'll do everything to support you. I know our followers probably have seen you. You got the 5 locations around this area. Anywhere else to find you or look for you, social media?
Yeah, we've also got about 15 wholesale locations. Okay. So different either country clubs, cafes, gyms, coffee shops that we either sell our product or our smoothie bags to them, and then they blend on site. So that's another really good thing for your viewers that are if they go through and they have those different operations and they want to stock up on these smoothie bags, we basically weigh everything out to the ounce and put them in a bag, and everything except for the liquid. So like our AB&J that's super popular, we have everything put in there, the supplements, the proteins, the nut butters, everything weighed out to the ounce, just like we make it in store. So you can have those things stocked up in your freezer, and then whenever you want it, you just pour it in your blender, add 12 ounces of almond milk, and blend it in about 45 seconds. You've got a Green Brothers quality smoothie.
Hey,
ready to go.
See, I even learned something here.
There you go.
I know that is perfect to tell our patients, just everybody that wants to be healthy in the community. So, Josh, thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Appreciate you coming on.
Me.
Thanks for listening to the Smiles Ahead podcast, powered by Burrow Welchel Culp Orthodontics. Be sure to leave a rating, hit that subscribe button, and if you have more questions, you can reach out to me directly at sam@bwcortho.com. That's sam@bwcortho.com. You can also visit our website, bwcortho.com, and we will be happy to answer any questions you might have.